Hey y'all, it's KaetheDoll. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. I'm so happy to see you again. So I'm back again with another story time, of course. And this one is going to be about a weird teacher I had, y'all. He was so weird, such a weirdo. But we're going to get into it. I'm pretty sure that a lot of you can relate because high school is just like a dumpster fire. Shit is just happening like everybody want to rise up against you while you're trying to figure out who you are. And sometimes, unfortunately, the people rising up against you are full-grown adults. Adults. Yeah, it's mental illness. I don't know which one it is specifically, but it's something. Something is not right. And we're going to call this man Jughead, okay? Because he had a weird ass shaped wide head. So we're going to call him Jughead today. So this is going to take me back way to ninth grade. Oh my gosh, freshman year. So I went to a very small school. So we did not have, like, it wasn't the type of school where you have like wood shop and all this other stuff. Pretty much you was going to end up taking every elective because it was only like a handful of electives. And maybe not even a handful. When I say it was like art, music, and I was not taking no music. Um, Debates and like another class. But also, the problem was those classes would be exclusive to certain grades. So, like, if I was a freshman, I could not take certain electives that was meant for like juniors and seniors. So it really did narrow down the amount of classes or which classes that you could take. You was gonna end up taking them all, but like you ain't have choices like that is what I'm trying to say. So this particular year, it's my freshman year. Of course, I have to be in JROTC because I already have art, and at the time they was making you like split the year, so you had to take a certain elective in this period for the beginning of the year, and then when you come back from Christmas break, you had to be in another elective. So they just was doing too much, honestly. Doing too much. So I'm in JROTC, and my school had Army ROTC. So like pretty much it was Army. They was teaching us values and integrity and all this other shit, and with the hopes of like some of us actually seeing the Army as an opportunity, um, to like supplement our lives. If we graduated, we wanted to like, go to college, but didn't know how you was going to pay for college. You could use the Army to help you and things like that. So it was really supposed to be like educational. And it probably would have been if not for this nutcase that was actually the instructor. Yeah. So let's get into it. So Mr. Jughead was definitely the type of guy who believed that women had their place and men had theirs, okay? Yeah, that type of guy. And no matter how misogynistic his lectures would be or how sexist his ideas were or opinions were, and he would give lectures on these opinions and ideas to a class that is occupied by women, like just super disrespectful, going out of his way to be like nasty, catty, and rude. That's just the way that he was. And no matter how like disrespectful he got, he thought that like all the women that he was offending should sit there and listen to what he has to say just off the bat of him being the teacher. Now, the type of person that I am, hi, I'm a Leo, nice to meet you. That is not going to work for me. Like, I'm going to give you respect, of course, because you're the teacher. Like, so there is a power dynamic there. But I'm not going to just let you sit up here and like play in our faces and be like rude or mean to us or just say shit. Like, he was the type of person that they would have like faculty meetings, and then he would come back and like spill all the tea that they discussed in the faculty meetings, like who wasn't graduating, that type of stuff. Like, yeah, he was that type of dude. On top of that, he was the type of dude to go and get manicures. Okay, I am so here for like men taking care of themselves and things like that, but there are two different guys who get manicures. More often than not, there's going to be this guy over here that's like Give me a top coat, give me a clear top coat. I don't want no colors, but I do want like my gel on top, you know? Jughead was in that category. And then there's the dudes that's just like, hey, I don't want to have like ugly hands. I don't want to have ugly feet. So like I'm going to go and get a manicure or a pedicure. And I totally respect that. But to be the type of misogynistic guy, then also sit there and let them people put clear nail polish on you, I just felt like that was crazy. I feel like that's crazy, okay? Like he was definitely a weirdo, just a weirdo. Now, I don't know if Mr. Jughead had a problem because like of course I had to be in the class, so I would do what I needed to do to make my grades. But I'm the type of person who's going to prioritize aesthetics. So I was doing makeup back then. My mom would take me to my lash appointments literally. Like I'm not even joking. So I don't know if he was like he felt some type of way because I was like that or what, but I was also dominating academically. So maybe he just had a problem because like I was a well-known student, well liked. I mean, if the girls was talking shit, I never heard it. So I feel like I was well liked.
Period. Period. Period.
But you know, like I don't know if he just had a problem accepting like everything that I was, like my personality and everything, right? So I don't know if he just had a problem or if he was just a weirdo, because why are you so invested? But it literally got to the point where he would say like stuff and be so disrespectful, and I would allot him the opportunity to disrespect up until a certain point. But when you just got too comfortable and you felt like you was gonna actually be saying things that's targeted toward the women in the classroom, that's why I'm gonna speak up. So we got to a point where we were clashing every single class. Cause it's like, why do you feel like you always have to get a rise out of me? Like, why do you feel like you have to just poke and keep prying and like just keep being a weirdo? Like, why you feel like you have to do that? And nobody's gonna say anything to you because I don't play that shit. Like, my mother definitely taught me that respect is earned, is not given. Like, yes, you're going to have a borderline level of respect for people just off the back of them being people, especially because he was a teacher. But also, when he crossed the line of like saying certain things and you want to be, you know, you're saying it in a certain way, like, yeah, like you're starting with me. My mom has never been the type to be like, sit there and take that. Like, she would never tell me to do that. So I would stand up for myself, like, and stand up for the women in the room. I'm like, why do you feel like that's okay to say? I'm like, okay, well, even if you feel that way, we don't really need to know about that because like that's offensive, highly offensive. Anyway, so it progresses and like he just keeps on, and I feel like it's the highlight of his day at this point to just start with me, dog. Like, and then you want to send me to the principal's office? Gladly. Let me get the fuck up out of here. Like, so it was that type of thing. I'm like, this dude is weird. So it got to the point where we had to have a parent teacher conference with my parents and him, me, and the principal, right? So I don't know if he thought that he was gonna come in here and like run shit and tell my parents. I think my sister had to come because my mom might have still been working or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe my mom was there. I don't really know, but I do know this. It ended up like my sister was about to jump clean the fuck up on him because instead of this man playing his part, and maybe somebody would have believed what he was saying if he hadn't have got like disrespectful as fuck in the parent teacher conference. Yeah, my mom couldn't have been there because I do remember like yeah, he got real disrespectful, pretty much saying like, you know, trying to say that I was the problem, that I just wouldn't stay in my place, like I wouldn't just be quiet. I always feel like I have to say something, and I'm like, I'm never like that until you cross a line. That's when I'm like, yeah, you're not about to disrespect me to my face. You can forget it. So literally it got to the point where my sister was like, well, you're gonna have to do something to the principal, because she's like, Do you not see how he's acting? And then he wants somebody to sit up here and believe that my sister is the problem. You're showing me exactly what my sister been coming home every day and saying. Because like I said, I'm definitely the type of person, like my mom raised me a certain type of way. So anytime that we would get into it, I'm going home and telling my mom. And I'm like, this dude said this. And like every day, he feels like he has to say something offensive. He feels like he has to disrespect women. He feels like he has to do X, Y, and Z. And literally my mom would be like, my mom is definitely not the one to play with. She ain't never been the one to play with, okay? When I have to go out in the hall and call my mom, everybody knows it's gonna be a problem, okay? Because she raised me to know, you know, just how far to go, to know when to speak and when to be quiet, and to know how much shit to essentially take just so I could get through the hell that was school, the school that I went to, rather. So yeah, so she knew like when I came home and I felt moved enough to tell her some shit, it was serious. Like, so my mom already knew all of this stuff leading up. He gets disrespectful in the parent teacher conference. So the way that ended, the principal had to take me, remove me from this man's class, and I ended up being put in an elective that was for seniors. So remember at the beginning I said that some of the electives that were available were exclusive to certain grades. So I had to take civil law. Shout out to that class. That class, I loved that class. It was so fun. Like everybody in my grade wanted to be in that class because like it was all seniors. The teacher was dope. Like, just loved it. Anyways, so that's how that ended. And I'm just like, this is why people like that actually don't ever learn a lesson about like the way that they need to treat people, because instead of the principal saying like some of the shit that he was saying had the principal like where you think you like who you think you talking to and where you think you at. Like that's just how much hatred he had. Like it was so weird. But instead of the principal checking his ass right then and there, she removed me from the class like I was the problem. But I digress. Like he was just a little weirdo. And even after I left his class, several times, like my obviously these are my classmates, so they're gonna tell me. Several times he brought it up and he was like, that's what's wrong with y'all. Like, that's what's wrong with people like her. Talking about KaetheDoll now. Talking about me. That's what's wrong with people like Kay. Like, they always want a way to be made for them. They always want to get their way, X, Y, and Z. And you're absolutely right. I do expect to always get my way. And that's why I am where I am. So I had this stint. This is just a little bonus thing, right? I had this little stint where I was hell bent on going to the Navy. And it was just because I wanted to go. Like I just wanted to do it. And then also people was telling me, because like I said, I was the type of person to be in a full face of makeup at school. People was telling me, they're like, that's not for you. That's not for you. So, and I'm talking about adults, not even like classmates. Adults was telling me, really? Yeah, I don't see that for you. That's not for you. So, of course, that just made me want to do it more. But after I realized, I'm like, damn, I kind of know where I'm going. That's going to like take time away from me doing what I really want to do. And it's not like I'm going for a certain, like a specific benefit, i.e., to pay for school. I had a full ride scholarship to school. And like, it wasn't a specific reason I was going other than the fact that I just wanted to do it. I felt like I could do it. I knew I could do it. So tell me why, when I decided not to, and literally it was just me, like it was just me deciding not to, having a change of heart and knowing where I wanted to go and wanted to get from point A to point B in a straight ass line and not doing all this other stuff that I wouldn't care about. So literally, this man, mind you, I've graduated at this point. This man, I was well known, so I had people like who was younger than me, who was still at school, telling me, they would literally reach out to me and say like, dang, you know, Mr. Jughead was sitting up here like talking shit about you, like, oh, you said you was gonna go to the military and you haven't done it yet. And he heard through the grapevine, listen to this, and he heard through the grapevine that you couldn't do what? Like, Mr. Jughead, if you watching this, because I know that you're like so obsessed and so fucking weird. Hopefully you changed your ways, but most likely you have not. I just want you to know that not only can virtually anybody go to the military, any given branch, also like, but also I score high as fuck on the ASVAB, and you know that. I could have gotten any job that I wanted. Literally any job. So how is it that I couldn't go? And actually, I appreciate you, Mr. Jughead, because you just pushed me further into who I knew I was. Like, you tried to make it seem like I was the problem child and everything like that, but really, I was just standing on what I believed in, and I just wasn't taking no shit from you, you know, wanting to literally tear us down. As a teacher, I think you might need to reevaluate your profession if you take pride in tearing students down. You're a weirdo. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.